Good day once again. Let us continue with the discussion by looking at why guidance and counseling is more needed today than ever. Now, according to Villar, again, I would like to emphasize the beauty and the practicality of using this book of Villar. In her book, it was mentioned that a greater demand for guidance and counseling has arise because of prevailing conditions affecting the quality of human life. Now, what does this mean in practical terms? Una, itong hisgutan ang family situation sa Pilipinas because guidance and counseling does not happen in isolation. The family is often the first context where help is needed. And and understanding its dynamics is crucial for any counselors. Now, the first reality of the Filipino family right now is what we call disappearing family. Unsa man ni siya? This does not necessarily mean that family no longer exists physically, but the essence of being together has been lost. No? For example, marriage is not just living in the same house. It's about emotional closeness, shared responsibility, and support. Daghan sa atong kabatan-unan or clients nga gi-counsel nag-experience of emotional absence even if parents are physically present. Ikaduha, this what we call unready family. Many couples enter marriage without being fully prepared. Now, when we say being prepared for marriage, it means you must be emotionally, financially, and socially ready. Now, the result of being unready is conflict, dissatisfaction, and sometimes breakdown of the relationships, no? As counselors, we need to identify these patterns early and provide preventive guidance, helping couples and families develop the skills to sustain healthy relationships. Continue. The final situation that paved the need of guidance and counseling, particularly in the Philippines, is the alarming occurrence of the so-called pathological family. The notion of family has changed from being traditionally structured, no, to realities such as single parenthood, blended families, and other non-traditional arrangements. And again, it's becoming common. Some families may struggle with dysfunctional communication, lack of support, and unhealthy relational pattern. Guidance professionals must understand these dynamics and adapt counseling approaches to meet each family's unique needs. So, class, when we talk about guidance and counseling today, we cannot ignore the family context. Families are often the first source of help or sometimes of challenges for individual members of it. Continue. Let's now move and reflect on this another reality that paved the need of our profession, the so-called complexity of living in the Philippines situation. No? Dili lang ang family ang naghatag og challenge. There are broader societal and environmental factors that make life more demanding. And counseling services. Here are the conditions in the Philippines that make day-to-day living more complex. First, increased mobility of Filipinos. Daghan sa atong kababayan are looking for greener pastures, no? Whether locally or abroad. Migration, whether for work or education, brings both opportunities and challenges. Like, for example, separation from family, culture shock, and social adaptation issues. As counselors, we need to consider mobility as a factor in guidance, helping our clients to adjust transitions and maintain support systems even from afar. Ikaduha, changes in education. The curriculum is continuously evolving to respond to global trends, no, as well as technological innovations and workforce needs. Students and even working professionals must adapt to new learning, to new methodologies, competencies, and academic requirements. Here, guidance services can assist learners in navigating these shifts, providing counseling in study strategies, academic planning, as well as personal adjustments. Third, expanded course possibilities. There are growing diversity of programs, specializations, and career paths that are available for the students. Now, let's move to the third condition, and that is expanded course possibilities. There are a growing diversity of programs in specializations as well as career path available to students, especially now that we are revising the curriculum. While this is exciting, it can also be overwhelming. Many individuals need help in choosing a path aligned with their abilities, interests, and goals. Here, we counselors provide career guidance, aptitude assessments, and decision making support. What is the purpose for that? To reduce confusion as well as to improve outcomes. Now, lastly, the need for postgraduate studies. Here, job promotions, leadership positions, as well as professional recognition often depend on further studies, such as master's, doctoral program, or specialized certification. This creates pressure to continuously develop oneself, as well as balancing work and study and personal life. Here, we guidance counselors can help professionals plan their education as well as their career paths strategically, ensuring that their growth aligns with personal goals and capabilities. Now, when we look at the complexity of living, we see here why guidance and counseling is more than just a helping profession, why it is more than helping individuals. It is actually about assisting them to navigate their life's transition, whether it's academic challenges or career demands. Continue. Let's now move and talk about a very important aspect of life that once again made guidance and counseling a very necessary profession. And this is the experience of crisis. All human beings, no matter who we are, experience crisis at some point in our life. Some crises are personal, others are societal, and many are influenced by external conditions. Understanding this crisis is essential for guidance counselors. Why? Because we are here to help people cope with challenges. And again, this is the heart of our profession. Now, again, what are these crises that will affect us every now and then in our life? First, we have the natural calamities. Now, sa Pilipinas, last year, we encountered some of which, no? Bagyo, Lino, no? Including also climate change, no? The flood, no? Katong Bagyong Tino. And again, it affects many Filipinos, many Cebuanos, as well as their families. And again, this seem to be a yearly incidents, no? That we need to battle with. These disasters cause emotional, social, and economic challenges. So how can we provide our service as counselors, no? In order to mitigate the experience of crisis? Here, as counselors, we must provide support, coping strategies, and psychological first aid to help individuals and communities recover. I'd just like to share, just like what happened last year, no, during Bagyong Tino, we went to Kutkutliluan, kami sa PGCA Cebu, and we provide their psychological first aid. Second, crimes and accidents. Man-made disasters such as crimes, road accidents, or violence disrupt normal life and create trauma. Again, this is also another segment of crisis. Here, guidance counselors help victims process emotions, rebuild confidence, as well as regain a sense of safety. Now, let me proceed to the third experience of crisis. And this is the development in science and technology. So, anong crisis man ni siya? Modern technology has many advantages, but unfortunately, it also brings challenges such as cyberbullying, online addiction, and exposure to harmful information. So diha na to nakita nga even the development of science and technology also, if not properly understood, will bring crisis. So as counselors, we are here to help them navigate these challenges, no? In order for them to see changes safely and responsibly while promoting mental and emotional well-being. Okay, let's proceed to the fourth experience, increasing multifarious disorder. Increasing multifarious disorder with special emphasis on mental health, such as depression, anxiety, stress, and other mental health concerns, are rising in prevalence, especially among students and young professionals. So here, we as guidance counselors, we help them as we assess, intervene, and refer clients to appropriate resources, helping them manage challenges before they escalate. Okay? And lastly, the so-called generation gap. How different values, expectations, and lifestyles between generations can actually create misunderstanding at home, school, or workplace. That is why there's a gap that is created because there are two, shall we say, dili na mag-abot, nga generation. Kung kita counselors here serve as mediator. Wa man nag-abot. So we try to mediate and facilitate in order for the two generations promote understanding, and as a result they collaborate and therefore see and make good use of the positive sides, no, of each generation. Now, here we are being reminded that crisis is inevitable, but the way people respond and cope here can be guided and be supported. So, as future counselors, how can we anticipate this crisis? Because by being able to design preventive interventions, then we believe we can mitigate the experience. Although, it's, again, as I've mentioned a while ago, these are sometimes inevitable, but at least we do our best in order for us to provide functional and relevant approaches to intervene this crisis. Let's explore how the world of work is evolving. Guidance and counseling is closely connected to career and vocational development. So it is so important that we understand current trends and challenges in employment. Students and clients need help aligning their skills, abilities, and interests with the needs of the society. First, there is a proliferation of job titles. Daghan na kaayo nga mga trabaho nga karon nga nag-exist, nga wala nag-exist, no? 20 or 10 years ago. Here, kita nga counselors must help clients understand these rules, what skills they are required to have, and how they relate to personal abilities and interests. Second, new occupational possibilities. Emerging fields in technology, health, creative industries, and environmental work opened lead to new career paths. Guidance counselors here guide students in exploring these opportunities and in planning education and training for future careers. Third, there is a lack of sufficient job opportunities in some sectors, creating competitions and stress for young graduates. Here, Kita counselors can help clients manage expectations, develop resilience, and consider alternative pathways. Now, another trend is another development is this trends in permanency and tenure that is changing. No? Many workplaces now offer contractual, freelance, or flexible arrangements rather than permanent positions, no? Sama sa nahitabo sa niaging pandemic, no? Here, clients need guidance and counseling as they look into job security, benefit, and career planning in this changing environment. Okay? Now, another thing, job skills mismatch. And again, this is a growing issue. Sometimes individuals are trained in skills, yet not aligned with the marketing demands. Unsay kinahanglan diha jud sa tinuod nga world of work. Counselor plays a critical role in career advising, retraining, and bridging gaps between education and employment needs, no? So gamit kaayo ni siya when we create platforms for career development programs. Next, soft skills are considered to be essentials, no? Particularly the 21st century skills. Here, employers increasingly value communication, teamwork, problem solving. Here, digital literacy and adaptability. And as I've mentioned, these are all the 21st century skills. So, kita counselors once again support the acquisition and application of these skills in both academic and professional contexts. Now, lastly, the mutual recognition arrangement for the so-called glocalization. Gi-combine ang global ug ang local. O nang na-create ng word nga glocalization. Okay, so globalization allows professionals to work across countries, but requires understanding local standards, no? And still international standards, no? So mo nang na-create ng word nga globalization. Counselors help clients prepare for global opportunities while remaining nagpabilin nga grounded in the local competencies. So the world of work here, as I've tried to explain, is dynamic and and complex, no? Sama siya sa ako ang gipang discuss ganina. And then again, because of this, guidance and counseling becomes a very crucial profession in helping them match personal strengths with opportunities. Another thing, guidance and counseling help them acquire relevant skills. And as a result, they can now adapt to the changing employment trends. So once again, no, I ask you as future counselors, how can we help students to go through these challenges of modern career? Later on, this can be seen clearly on how we implement guidance services. Now, to continue, let us now proceed to the final topic, no, the legal basis of the guidance and counseling practices in the Philippines. Here, I will just be providing you a snippet, no, an introduction of the different legal documents that support our practice as guidance counselor. So, gamay lang ni siya, but hopefully we will not limit ourselves in hearing from me what these legal documents are about, but I'll I challenge you and I really encourage you to look into these different documents. No, kay puhon in the board examination, maybe one or two questions will be taken from these legal documents. Okay, so as we move to this final topic, hopefully we can see the importance of knowing the law, the rules, the regulation that govern our practice. No, these documents ensure that our work is ethical, standard, and legally recognized. So again, gamay lang ni nga discussion of the legal documents nga akong gisite here in this particular slide. And once again, I would like to reiterate nga atong obligasyon sa graduate school ang pagbasa sa primary sources. So una, the RA 9258, no? This is the Guidance and Counseling Act of 2004. Take note of that. No? It's the Guidance and Counseling Act of 2004, which formally recognized guidance and counseling as a profession in the Philippines. Here, the law defines the scope of practice, required qualification, and ethical standards for counselor. Essentially, this law protects both practitioner and clients and ensure professional integrity. Ang ikaduha, it's the IRR. IRR means implementing rules and regulation of the RA 9258. Okay, the IRR provides the specific guidelines on how RA 9258 is being applied. In the IRR, it clarifies issues such as licensure procedures, professional conduct, and administrative requirements. Again, without the IRR, the law is just a framework. So with it, we know how to implement the law correctly. So that's the purpose why every Republic Act always has a corresponding IRR. Okay, to continue, we also have the PRB of guidance. It's a board resolution number 5 series of 2008 that provides the code of ethics for guidance counselors. So take note of this. It's a professional regulatory board of guidance document, BOR number 5 series of 2008. So in this code of ethics, it guides us ethical decision making, confidentiality, and professional behavior. And again, as counselors, this is our moral compass in the practice. So kindly get hold of this. Ma-search ni siya sa internet so that you can read the laws themselves. Now, let's move to a more detailed documents, no, specific to our work as guidance counselors. First, we have the Department Order number 4 series of 2013, rule number 5 focusing on career guidance in the school. Okay? You can just search this one, type sige na ni kaning you copy this the name of this law and paste it in the internet, then the document will be available for you. Here, this document that serves as a rule of law ensures that students are given proper career orientation, assessment, and planning support. Kay counselors man god kita counselors, mao na to ang usa sa pinaka-importante nga task, no, to design career programs aligned with curriculum and the students' need. Okay, to continue, we also have another Republic Act specific to career guidance, no? It's called the Career Guidance Act, RA 11206. And it emphasized the role of the school in preparing students for career. Here, It requires educational institution to provide career guidance services for every student, especially for senior high school and also for the tertiary students, no? This complements to RE 9258, no? By focusing specifically in career development. Again, ako pang highlight ang career guidance is one of our vital functions as guidance counselors. Now, as to some specific details such as pila man ka estudyante sa mata guidance counselors, napud tay basis for that. One of which is the DepEd Order number 77 series of 2010. No? It recommends the ratio of guidance counselors for every 500 students in the basic education. We need a one guidance counselor. Why is that? To ensure students can access guidance services effectively. Pero dako ra gyapon kay ng 500, no? Kung ato siyang pagamyon, mas effective, no? Ug mas muduot unta sa bukog, so to speak, no? Ang implementation sa program, sa guidance and counseling program. So as counselors, we have to plan workloads and programs accordingly so that we can still maintain the standard of our service. And for the higher education, we have CMO number 9 series of 2013. This is the HEI Students Affairs Services. And is a certain provision here, ibutang dali pod ang ratio or 1,000 students for every one counselor in the higher education. But more than that, no, this CMO is a guidelines for students affairs services in the higher education institution. So this particular CMO ensures holistic student support, including once again guidance and counseling. Okay, so here counselors in the higher education curriculum follow standards to promote well-rounded students' growth. And lastly, we have this very important policy, no? Embedded in the DepEd Order number 40 series of 2012. This is the child protection policy. So whenever our clients are minor age, our institution, the learning institution, must have its own child protection policy. So this again to ensure safety and protections of the minors in schools. Kita counselors, no, we must be aware of child's right, the reporting mechanism, and the safeguarding practices. Now, in this particular order from DepEd, it emphasized that the guidance counselor is the vice chair or the co-chair of the Child Protection Committee. So here the law reminds us that ethical and legal responsibility is paramount when working with students, particularly children. Okay? So, as we continue and end this presentation, sa ako pang giingon ganina, very important kaayo nga atong mabasa ang entire document. Okay? So, I'd like to reiterate that we have the book of Dr. Villar for you to be able to see the areas, no, nga atuon niyang i-present individually, but do not just limit yourself in reading your own topics. Also read the entire book. As I've mentioned, very readable. The use of words are very good, very understandable kay siya, no, in layman's term. Okay. Before we end this lecture, by the way, no, I want to leave you with a thought about the true beauty of guidance and counseling. Guidance is not just about programs, reports, or assessment, my dear friends. No, it is fundamentally about human connection and service. Giunsa nimo pag-connect sa tao nga nanginahanglan og tabang. Ug unsa ka ang quality sa pangalagad nga atong gihatag niya. So, let me remind you with this short phrase, no? A simple remark, a smile, or a word of encouragement can change someone's day or even life. Okay? Sometimes a book or article we have read or a chance conversation with a friend or mentor can spark insight, motivation, or courage. Yes, these are small, everyday acts of guidance that embody the essence of our profession. Being a guidance counselor means being present, being attentive, being responsive to the needs of others. It's not always about grand intervention, mga bongga kaayo nga intervention, no? Usahay, listening sincerely, validating the feeling or giving a gentle direction is enough to help someone takes the next step in life. So class, as future guidance counselors, please remember, your impact is not only measured by programs or policies, but by the lives you touch and the people you help grow. In summary, I would like to put that into record. The beauty of guidance and counseling is that it empowers others. It uplifts humanity and makes a real difference in people's daily life. So, Busa, always approach your work, your role with a heart to serve, a mind to guide, and a hand ready to help. That is the essence of our profession. Okay? So, salamat kayo sa inyong pagtanaw aning recording and hopefully you learned something from my presentation. And please do your task with sincerity and with honesty. Nga atong tumong ani is we really learn from it. That would be all for now. Thank you so much and God bless us all.